When you cook brisket just right, it melts in your mouth and it practically falls apart. And if you put it in barley soup, it does it automatically. You don't even have to do anything. When you buy brisket from the butcher, you never exactly know how fatty is it gonna be. This piece is pretty fatty, so you're gonna have to trim it. That's really easy to do. People think, oh, I don't wanna trim it myself. What if I make a mistake? But you really can't make a mistake. All you have to do is when you see fat, cut it off. If you make a mistake and you cut into the meat, no one's gonna see it because it's gonna be in a soup pot. So it's very forgiving. There's got to be something that I can do with this. Popovers, sausage, Yorkshire pudding, I'm just gonna save it. You just want to cut it up into bite-sized pieces. Think about eating a soup and think, now what size piece of meat would I want on my spoon? Then after it's cut up, just season it with salt and pepper, and then you just want to let it rest for about half an hour to an hour. It looks like a lot of salt, but the meat can really take it. Now you just want to brown your meat. You're going to need to brown your meat in batches. That way you can leave plenty of space between the pieces, because if you crowd them all in, they're not going to brown. So just give them lots of room. I've got some leeks. I'm just gonna saute it right in the fat that's already there, so I don't need to add anything extra. And celery. Come on, garlic. The vegetables are actually deglazing all those brown bits on the bottom of the pan. You don't need to add wine or anything. And when those are soft, you just wanna add back in your meat. And then I've got bay leaf and thyme, and then I'm gonna add in just enough water to cover it. I'm gonna bring this to a simmer, and then I'm just gonna let it cook for about an hour. The meat's gonna be halfway done, and at that point, I'm gonna add my barley and the rest of my veg. I've got turnip over here, and by the way, this soup is a perfect place to use kohlrabi instead of turnip, if you happen to have some kohlrabi that you're looking for a place for. I've got parsnip, carrot, and then barley. Now just simmer this uncovered until both the meat and the barley are tender. Take about 45 minutes to an hour. You could serve the soup exactly as it is. It doesn't really need anything else flavor-wise, but I'm gonna add one anyway. What I've got here is Tuscan kale. I'm gonna roast it in the oven until parts of it get crisp and parts stay soft, and then I'm just gonna stir it in at the end. And that way you're gonna have different textures in every bite. And then just stick it in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm just gonna stir in a little bit of vinegar right at the end. All these flavors are pretty sweet, so you need just a touch of acid to balance it. There, some of it's soft, I can feel some of it's crisp. So if your Hanukkah got trumped by Thanksgiving this year, you can make some brisket barley soup. It's a perfect way to get your brisket fix.